Good morning, everybody. We'll get started here in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Action-packed coaching call today. Good morning, everybody. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. We have a lot of information to cover today. I think you'll enjoy it. Good morning, everybody. We'll get started here in about 1 minute. Good morning, everybody. We'll get started here. Just a little bit over a half a minute. Good morning, everybody. We'll get started here in just a few seconds, waiting for stragglers to call in. Good morning, everybody. We'll get started here in just a few seconds. All right. So hope you had a good week and you're ready to get started here. I've got 3 topics to cover with lots of information, but the best thing you can do on these coaching calls is sometimes it's like drinking from a fire hose, and today will be one of those occasions, is don't try to do everything. Find 1, 2, or 3 actionable items that you can move forward on. Just getting a little bit better every day, a little bit better every week, a little bit better every month. So you're not stagnating, but you're getting better. The better you get, the more money you'll make, the easier your job is. So if you've lost your motivation, 3 scientifically proven ways to get it back. So, and it's not just you, everybody loses their motivation at times, believe me. So what are those? Number 1, create rituals that lift you up, not drag you down. So I was going for a walk with my wife this weekend, and I saw people that were running, and they had straps around their knees, knee braces on, and you could tell when they were running, they were just in pain. Their faces showed pain. You could tell by their gait that their knees were in pain. Do you think that's a great, is that creating happiness when they, when it comes to going for a run? Or are they doing that because they feel like they have to? So if your ritual that you have, first of all, have rituals. The only way people think, Mike, you're disciplined. I'm not disciplined at all. Everything, if I do not have something in a calendar, or I do not do it at the same time every day, I will not do it. I'm not disciplined enough. If I don't exercise in the morning when I get up, guess what? It ain't happening. If I schedule it for in the afternoon, by the time I get there, I'm like, I'm too tired, too many things have happened, blah, 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 blah. So have rituals, and then if you have rituals and they're bogging you down, change them to ones that will lift you up. What do you do when you first get out of bed in the morning, when you quit work in the evening? Rituals are like habits, except that you choose them deliberately rather than fall into them. Just don't fall into your ritual. Think about, is this the best way I can run my day? For example, before you start your work day, you could either spend 15 minutes on Facebook or 10 minutes writing in a journal, and another 5 minutes on a short meditation. Ample research has shown that spending time on Facebook can dramatically worsen your mood or even lead to depression. Whereas journal writing, I know it sounds dorky, but journal writing, scientifically has been proven, depending on what you write, to have potential to make you feel happier and have a better life. Meditation is even more of a mood changer. And guys, you don't even need to, you don't have to do meditation as in and sit in a lotus position. Just doing breathing exercises is the same as meditation. And there's box breathing you probably heard of. There's intake breathing you've heard of. It's very easy online to find breathing rituals that you can do, and you don't have to do it for 15 minutes either. As little as 3 minutes of breathing exercise a day can make you healthier can make you happier. And then obviously exercising and getting out of nature, even if it's only a local park, are both proven ways to lift your spirits as well. So create rituals that are going to boost your mood, make you healthier, not things like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok that are likely to worsen your mood. 155 ways to reward yourself. Find ways to reward yourself when you actually complete a goal or a task. So find ways to do that, whether it's with food, whether it's with buying yourself something you have your eye on. I mean, find ways to reward yourself. And then connect with someone. Connect. The best way to do that is, you can combine things together, is connect with your clients. Connect with one client per day. Just one client per day. It's going to make you happier. It's going to make them happier. So guys, please choose. These are 3 things that you could actually easily do, just based on what we talked about today. So when I said actionable items, all 3 of those are actionable. 12 secrets to mastering your time management. Well, you don't have time to do those things. Well, let's talk about mastering your time management. So we found that your brain works best in 90-minute focus sprints followed by breaks. The rule, so you can't just sit down and do something for 3 hours. And in fact, in those 90 minutes, you're going to have breaks in those 90 minutes before you have a bigger break. So don't just sit down for 3 hours and do something. Break it into actionable time periods. Number 2, the rule of 3. Instead of endless task lists, just set 3 key priorities per day. Anti-do list. Track what not to do. Low value habits or waste time. We just talked about one, which is what? Facebook. Don't do Facebook. Timestamp planning. Estimate time for each task so your schedule isn't just a wish list. And guys, this is where I've talked about this before. When guys tell me they don't have time to do the 15-minute drill, when they tell me they don't have time to learn the scripts, when they tell me they're overwhelmed, what I do is I say, here's what we're going to do for 3 days. Let's get it. It's Monday. We're going to schedule an appointment for Thursday. For the next few days, you're going to have a schedule. Put a schedule in front of you that's broken down into 15-minute increments. And we're not going to do this for the rest of your life, so I know it's going to be intensive to do this for 3 days, but no, you're not going to do it for the rest of your life. For the next 3 days, set your timer for every 15 minutes. And for every 15 minutes, you stop and you write down what you did for that 15 minutes. And you do that all day long for 3 days. Now, coaching guys for 25 years now, guess how many guys at the end of that 3 days said, yeah, here's my last 3 days. Here's my last 8 hours times 3, 24 hours. Look at how much stuff I've done. How many of them were overwhelmed with actual things that were made them better or made their practice better or were making the people around them better? Did they find that they were using all 24 hours? That 8 hours a day for 3 days, 24 hours. Did they find that they were using all 24 hours? No. Did they find they were even close? No. I think the record I have is like maybe half. So 12 of the 24 hours, they were actually being productive in a positive way. So when you don't do that, guess what you don't understand? Where all that time per day is going. So this timestamp planning is, if you want to know how to make your life more productive, how to make your life better, how to free up time, track yourself for a few days, and you find out that where it is that you're spending, you're going to track time that you shouldn't be spending. You're going to track what not to do going forward. Because how many of you have gotten onto Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or your choice of social media, and all of a sudden you look at the clock and 25 minutes has gone by? You're going to get on for 2 minutes and 25 minutes gone by. That's 10 times more time than you thought you were going to spend. You spent. So 12 secrets to mastering time. Manage energy, not just time. Track when you're naturally most focused and schedule deep work. That's generally, for most people, in the morning. The 90-minute deep work cycle. Your brain works best in 90-minute focus sprints followed by breaks. There's lots online about how to put together a work schedule with breaks that will give you the most bang for the buck. Rule of 3, just set 3 priorities per day. Anti-do list, track what you shouldn't be doing. Timestamp planning, these are all ones that we just talked about. Switching task awareness. Switching between tasks not task awareness, task awareness. Switching between tasks can cost up to 40% of your productivity and minimize it. So jumping from one thing to another thing, back and forth, don't do that. Block out your time. Don't be looking at emails, because that's what gets you to switch to a different task. You see an email, you're deep in a project, you look at email, oh my gosh, I got to answer that email. And then how long does it take to get back into that project again? So turn off your email, turn off your social media when you're doing something, so you're not jumping back and forth between tasks. Waiting time tasks. Use time in line commuting for microtasks. We've talked about Anki and Quizlet for learning the scripts. You can learn an awful lot of the scripts while you're waiting in line at restaurants, at the DMV, or wherever you're waiting at the doctor's office. Day theming. Assign specific tasks to certain days. That's how I ran my day as your coach, that I had certain days. Mondays I did certain things. Tuesdays I did certain things. Wednesdays I did certain things. I mean, when I was running a practice, my theme was I'm meeting with clients. I was running 30 appointments a day, so there was no need for that, because my theme was see clients, either the first, second, or third meetings. Productive boredom. Allow quiet time for creative thinking. This is something that's hard to do in today's world of having a phone in your pocket constantly. How often do we just sit down and think? And that's where, I mean, all of this, the 21-point checklist system, the FIA presentation, everything that's been created in the system, everything that's made myself millions of dollars, advisors who have followed it millions of dollars, that all came from me sitting down in an IKEA chair and closing my eyes and letting my brain go, saying, here's my focus, here's what I want to happen, and then just letting it relax and finding those things. You'd be amazed at when you finally just turn off everything else and then key your brain with what you want to be thinking about, and then just let it wander and find those great ideas. People do not do that virtually at all anymore, because we're filling all of that time that we would otherwise have had great ideas with social media, our phones, and everything else. Set hard stops. When you should know when you're going home, and then go home and leave it there. Multiplier tasks. Some tasks, automating a workflow or hiring the right person, save you time forever. Learn to delegate. And just start rule. When procrastinating, commit 2 minutes of a task. Momentum usually follows. If I'm trying to figure out how to do a presentation or create a new marketing idea or whatever, you can procrastinate forever and ever and ever until you just finally just start, and you'll be amazed. When you just start, it might be slow and creaky at first, but it gets the ball rolling, and it gets it going faster and faster and faster. So don't just sit there and say, I'm stuck. Just write something down. Make sense? So we talked about all of these things today. Then I want to talk about whether the market is overvalued or not. So overvalued means, definition is stock trading at a price that is not justified by its earnings outlook. Excuse me one second. So where are we today? Here's the market capitalization versus long run equilibrium. So look at where we are right now. 2000. Look at how far it was between the market cap and equilibrium level. What happened? Just barely touched in 2000. What happened? But look at how far we are over, and what happened in 1973 for a full 18 years. And look at where we are right now. So the plot compares log total market capitalization to long run equilibrium levels, estimated from cyclically adjusted corporate earnings. Where are we right now? We are way overvalued. The Buffett indicator, 217% overvalued the market is. Market valuation methods just to the arithmetic means. Guess where we are right now? Again, just like 2000, just like in the 60s, where we had 18 years of down markets, and then right before, during COVID, and guess where we are right now? So there's all sorts of red alarms going off for the market being overvalued right now. In fact, here they are all. Buffett indicator, strongly overvalued. Price earnings model, strongly overvalued. Price sales model, strongly overvalued. Interest rate model, overvalued. Mean reversion model, strongly overvalued. Earnings yield per gap model, fairly valued. So out of these 6, we got one that's fairly, We got 4 that's strongly overvalued and 1 that's overvalued. So it's now the time that we should be pouring money into the market. But here's the thing. Do your clients want to be pouring money into the market now? Some of them do. Why? Why do some of the people want to be pouring money into the market right now? Because the market's done well. So when do people want to put money in the market? When it's down or when it's up? They want to put it when it's up. And your job as an advisor to tell them, now's the time we want to take money off the table. And where can we put it? Where can we put it? I mean, we don't want to panic. We don't want to pull all of our money out of the market and put it in the bank. But do we have options of where we can put it where they will not suffer if the market continues to go up? In fact, they'll benefit if the market continues to go up, but they won't be punished if the market goes down. Yes, at least 50-50. I, at this point, would be recommending people have 30% in the market and 70% in FIAs, and then just move it over on an annual basis. Use that 10% free withdrawal, move it over, move it over, move it over. Because are they being punished in an FIA if the market goes up? Do we have FIAs now that have beaten the market over the last 20 years, last 15 years, over the last 10 years? Yes, we do. So they're not being punished. And again, does the FIA presentation tell them they're going to make more than the market? No. We know that historically it has for the last 25, 20, and 15 years, and 10 years it has. But will people buy FIAs based on not even beating the market? Yes, they will. They do. You're going to be under-promising and over-delivering. And when the market falls, will they panic? Will they look for another advisor? Will your fees go down? Because remember, are you cannibalizing your practice by moving out of assets under management into an FIA? Are you cannibalizing your practice by moving out of money management into FIAs? Because you know what? When you move it out of your money management, you lose those fees, right? But here's the thing. If your daughter or your son came to you and said, listen, I'm out of college now. I'm looking for your advice, mom or dad. And I've got a job offer, and here's what they're offering. They're offering to pay me 5 years up front, and I get to keep that money whether the market or whether they fire me, whether they move me to a different position, whether the company goes under. I get to keep that money no matter what. Or they'll pay me on a bi-weekly basis. What are you going to tell them to do? Take the money up front or just get paid on a weekly basis? Now, obviously, you're going to say take it up front. You're also going to say, listen, we need to put you on a payment schedule so that you don't blow all that in the first year and then you're screwed. But how many would you want to do? And think about the lottery. Think about the lottery. How many people take the payment for the rest of their life versus all of it up front? So when you move money from money management into an FIA, you're getting paid all up front. All up front. Also, if the market goes down, your clients aren't going to leave you. Also, every single year, you're moving that money back out of the FIA back into the money management. So by the end of if you do the math, and I've done the math over and over and over the last 25 years, guess where you'll make more money? By leaving in money management or by moving into an FIA and then moving it back into money management? You'll always make more money by moving into an FIA and then back into money management. You'll make more money. Your clients will make more money. You both will sleep better. So guys, please, I wouldn't be doing 50-50. I'd be doing 30 in market, 70 in the FIAs. So here's the big topic for today. 10 reasons why so many people fail in sales. First is what? It's why I was failing. For the first 8 years, well, first 7 years, I didn't make any money because I couldn't market. The 8th year, I got in front of 300 people, did 101 case analysis, $34 million, and only got 3 new clients for $800,000 out of that $34 million. And of course, many of you know, I actually quit. And my wife said, why are you quitting? I said, because I'm working with a bunch of idiots here in Rochester. But she goes, what do you mean idiots? I said, I go to these folks and I show them how to put their portfolios together. They thank me, they love me, but then they go back to the guy who caused them all the problems in the first place. So I was blaming the client instead of myself. And I see it with advisors so often. They think the reason they're not successful is because the clients are dumb, or because interest rates are not very good, or because participation rates in the FIA isn't very good, or it's marketing is so hard to do, or blah blah blah. It's always everybody else's fault, guys. When that 8th year, when my wife just said, here's this discipline psychology, motivational interviewing, you should look into that. When I started to do that and tape my meetings, I realized the clients weren't dumb, I was dumb. I was dumb. I was making them feel stupid. And anytime you make somebody feel stupid, do they want to work with you? No. So the main thing, yes, motivational interviewing absolutely helped me create a fantastic system for me to use and you guys to use. But the only reason that motivational interviewing and the system worked is because I quit blaming everybody else and listened to myself on tape every single meeting. Because if all I did was create motivational interviewing, I would have thought I was doing it right. But by listening to the tapes, I learned I was doing it wrong. I thought I was doing it right, but listening to tapes don't lie. I found out I was doing it wrong. So when you see, I can't fix interest rates. I can't fix participation rates. I can't fix marketing. I can't fix what clients do. The only thing I can fix is what? Me. And I found out when I fixed me, I did fix what clients do. When I fixed me, interest rates didn't matter. When I fixed me, the market didn't matter. When I fixed me and created a system where I was closing 97% of people, marketing didn't matter. Because I will spend how much money on marketing when I'm closing 97% of the people I get in front of? So the first reason people fail is they point at everybody else except who? Themselves. Start holding yourself accountable. And if you're not taping yourself with clients, and I don't even care if it's for annual meetings, annual review meetings. If you're not taping yourself with your clients, are you holding yourself accountable? No, because I guarantee you what you think transpired at that meeting is not what actually transpired. I never, ever, ever had a perfect meeting. I always found ways to make my communication skills better. So what's the only thing we have power to fix? It's ourselves. Ourselves. Hold yourself. Fix yourself. Fix yourself. Fix yourself. 15-minute drill, taping your meetings, learning the scripts. That's how you fix yourself. Now, they said people fail because they don't have goals. Do I like goals? No. So I disagree with them on the language they use, which is they say you should have goals. But all the research, even though they're saying you should have goals, shows that goals don't work because goals are just numbers. You pick that goal and you'll find if I pick a goal, I want to make $1 million a year, and all of a sudden it's June and I've only made 250, I think I can't make 750 in the last half of the year. So I give up on that goal. So goals are worthless. But I understand what they're saying. You do have to have an end point in mind. So if my end point is $1 million, that's not my goal. What I'm going to do is then use that goal instead of using the goal as that's what my end goal is. I'm going to use that goal to create a system to make that goal. So I'm going to reverse engineer what I need to do. What's my average client size? How much do I bring out? How many clients do I need at that average client size to make $1 million? With my marketing, how much does each marketing that I do bring on a new client? So I can reverse engineer this back to know exactly then how much marketing I need to do at a certain at my closing ratio, at my average ticket size, for my average production per client, to multiply by how many clients I need to make $1 million, or whatever that dollar amount is. So I agree with what they're saying is you have to have an end in sight, but goals are not the way to do it. A system to create that is what you need to be doing. So are you trying to achieve the wrong goal? A goal is wrong. Create a system. Have a goal, but that's not the end goal. It's creating a system that will get you to that end goal that is the right thing to do. Make sense? Also, taking shortcuts. Do shortcuts ever work? Shortcuts ever work? No. No. So I have everybody, I've worked with a lot of high production guys, and they all fall into this trap that I'm going to take a shortcut. I'm going to try to do it the easy way. I'll give you an example where the shortcuts I would do is when I had a 97% closing ratio, when I got a referral, I would fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I don't need to use a 21-point checklist because they're a referral. Obviously, if they're a referral, I can skip all that stuff, and we'll just move the money. And what did I find out? Taking that shortcut didn't work. The referral was not guaranteed. By taking the shortcut, I lost that referral. Or if I would have just done the 21-point checklist the same way I did everybody, guess what? I would have gotten that referral. If I get a 97% closing ratio with somebody who's cold, who has no desire whatsoever to leave their current advisor, guess what my closing ratio is going to be on referrals using that system? 100%. Don't take shortcuts. Do things that are uncomfortable. How many of you are doing in your practice are doing the exact same thing they did 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago? You have to do things that are not comfortable. Taking the long way. Now, just like the shortcut, taking shortcuts, there are other people who take the long way. What I would say the long way is not learning the scripts. Because how many more people, what's your closing ratio without the scripts? What is your closing rate? And I'm not talking with referrals. I'm talking about if a bus pulled up with 100 seniors who had no intention of leaving their current advisor, what's your closing ratio with those people? Is it 97%? Is it 90%? Is it 85%? Or is it 10% or 15% or 20%? And then you tell yourself, oh, I didn't get those other people because they weren't movable. Yes, they were. So taking the long way is actually taking a shortcut by saying, I'm going to do this by not spending the time to learn the scripts. I'm just going to wing it. That's a shortcut. That ends up being the long way to success. Spending the time up front, not taking a shortcut, but instead learning the scripts. Learning the scripts is going to get you there much faster than just winging it and just telling, selling, and preaching and teaching. Make sense? Neglecting the little things. Neglecting the little things. So what kind of little things? Well, are you doing 250 handwritten notes every single week? Are you calling your clients on a quarterly basis? Not about their money, but just to check in on a personal level. Because remember, all the studies show that loyal clients are loyal because they think their advisors care about them. So the average loyal client, not satisfied client, but loyal client, has said that they have touches from their advisor of 12 to 13 times a year about non-financial things, about things that, because if all you do is call them and talk about their money, what do they know about you? All you care about is their money. You should be calling on birthdays. You should be calling on anniversaries of when they first became a client. You should be calling for holidays. You should be sending out handwritten notes. Don't neglect the little things. 96% of people who quit too soon are employed by the 3% that never give up. What does that mean? Well, again, after in fact, I did quit. I credited my wife with making, because after the 8th year, 7 years of not being able to get in front of enough people, 8th year got in front of enough people, couldn't close the door. I did quit, and that's when my wife said, "Don't quit. Evaluate what you're doing, and here's an idea with motivational interviewing. Why don't you try to use that?" So I didn't give up, and that's what they found with billionaires. Billionaires, when they've interviewed billionaires, there's been studies that have interviewed billionaires, find out what do they have in common. What's the one thing they have in common? The one thing billionaires have in common is this: they failed, and then they restarted. Now, here's the catch to that. If they became a billionaire because of their restaurateurs, they didn't fail at restaurants and then move over and try to sell cars. If they were billionaires because of makeup and cosmetics, they didn't fail cosmetics and then move and try to do electronics. What they found is billionaires failed. If they were billionaires from cosmetics, they failed because at cosmetics, then they started a new cosmetic company. And if that failed, they started a new one. And if that failed, they started a new one because they learned what didn't work for the last cosmetic company. They learned what didn't work for the last restaurant. They learned what, and you guys, that's, if you fail and learn, guess what? The chances of success the next time, what happens to the chances of success the next time you do it? It goes up. And again, I failed so many times to create this system, so you don't even have to fail. All you need to do is learn the system. They don't learn from the past, but instead they let the past roll over them. See, they use the past as an excuse instead of as a learning tool. If I fail to get a sale, I'm going to lament about it and make all sorts of excuses and complain and blah 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 blah. If I recorded that meeting, what's happened then? I'm using that to build the ability to move forward. So I can use the past as either a crutch to complain about why I'm not successful. The world, woe be me, woe unto me. The world doesn't treat me fairly. Or I can use the past as a tool to learn to get better in the future. The iceberg illusion. Success is an iceberg. Here's what people see. When they see somebody who's successful, they're like, wow, that person, wow, they're lucky. Oh, wow, they're smart. Oh, wow, lucky. They have unbelievable skills. They're not lucky. They're not smart. They don't have unbelievable skills. Or if they do, it's because of this. Persistence. They kept practicing until they were awesome at those skills. They kept persisting until they were smarter than the average bear when it comes to whatever they're doing. They continued to persist until they were lucky. They created their own luck. When they failed, they used that as a learning experience. They didn't just start complaining about the world and how unfairly they've been treated. Instead, like we just talked about with the idea of Sisyphus here, they used that failure to get better, They sacrificed that 15 minutes a day to do their most important 15-minute drill. They sacrificed those hours up front to learn the scripts. They didn't let disappointment overwhelm them. Instead of getting, when they failed, having disappointment, they used it as an opportunity to learn. They were disciplined. They did that 15-minute drill every single day, whether they want to or not. They did the hard work of learning the scripts. I understand it's not easy to learn the scripts, but we've given you tools, Quizlet and Anki, to learn those scripts. What you're not seeing is all the work that went into. I'm not smarter than you guys. I'm not luckier than you guys. I'm not more talented than you guys. Because if all I did is try to wing it, just like you guys are, guess what? I would have the same exact success. What made me a $1 million producer 25 years ago, just think, $1 million producer 25 years ago, how much would I make today? 25 years ago when all of my clients, or 95% of my clients, were teachers, engineers, and nurses. Not rich people, normal blue-collar or white-collar workers. And they did not have 401ks as much as they had pensions at that point. So how much would, if I made $1 million back then, how much would I make today? If I made $1 million in Rochester, how much would I make in Minneapolis? It's not because I'm talented. It's not because I'm smart. It's not because if all I did was wing it, I would have the exact same success of not being able to close a door. What allowed me to be successful was the system, the 21-point checklist, the scripts that have been tested over 100,000 times on tape, probably 500,000 times not on tape. They work, they work, they work. Persistence, using failure to learn, sacrificing my time to do the hard work and the discipline to do the hard work, taking disappointment and turning it into something better, dedication to what I wanted to accomplish. That's what creates success. It doesn't just happen. People aren't lucky. They're not smart. And they're not just talented. When they see success, you have to know these are the things that happened. So Jane, thanks for joining this call. Again, you don't have to do all of these things. Choose one or two or three of these things. So we have what? We have 3 ideas to create your own riches that lift you up, not drag you down. We have mastering your time, mostly by stop doing things that waste your time and tracking your time to find out what you're doing. Talked about the market being overvalued. And most importantly, we're talking about how to quit failing and succeed more. Don't blame other people. You're the only thing you can fix. Don't have goals, have a system to get to that goal. Quit taking shortcuts. Do things that are uncomfortable. Don't do it the long way either. Don't neglect the small things. Make sure, don't be afraid of failure. Use failure to get better and use the past to get better. That's what's going to give you the success. Make sense? Awesome. You guys thanks for being on the call today. Have a great rest of the week. We'll talk to you next Monday. Thanks, everybody.